Hi there, welcome back to the Raspberry Sweet Studio. I've got another quickie little tutorial video for you today. Nothing too major or in-depth, but I've been getting some requests for a while now for information on how I cut out different embellies and stamped images that I use on my cards and other projects. And so I thought it would be just the perfect time to share a video with you today, since we've been talking this week on my blog about the new Color Couture collection that I've designed for Paper Tray Ink. So I will share a few tips with you, just how I get those nice, clean, smooth edges when I cut things out, and hopefully you'll feel a lot more comfortable in your own skill, and hopefully you'll pick up a few tips along the way. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye. Okay, so I've got a sheet of Embellies here. This particular sheet is from the Volume 2 collection of Color Couture Embellies, which will be available at Paper Tray Ink starting on February 15th. And when I cut out little guys like this, I usually like to cut them off of the sheet first. Go ahead and cut them apart from each other. That'll just make it easier for you to have less to have to cut around while you're working. And as you cut into these little guys, you're going to find that, you might need one in the middle, and so then you've got two separate sections of Embellies. Stay tuned this week on my blog. I will have a tip for you coming up on how to store these extra little bits and pieces until you're ready to use them. Because sometimes it's easier to go ahead and, if you're in a mood to sit down and cut, go ahead and cut things out, and then you've got them all ready to go. But I'll give you a tip on how to store those in your binder, so that everything is still kept right there, close at hand, and very neatly organized. So to start out, I'm going to cut out this little flower, and the main tip I can tell you is when you're cutting out any stamped image or little embellies like these from the Color Couture line, or whatever, any kind of little detailed things that you need to cut out, the main thing to do is guide the paper through the scissors with your paper hand, and just hold the scissors steady with your scissor hand. You're going to apply a nice firm cutting pressure, but you'll notice that my this hand holding the paper is really the one that's doing the bulk of the work. You're going to move the paper through the scissors rather than cut around the embelly with the scissors. You end up with a lot smoother, cleaner edges, especially when you're doing round shapes like these, like this little flower, the scalloped borders that you'll do, anything like that. It's a lot easier to move the paper through the scissors rather than try and move the scissors around the paper, if that makes any sense. Also, whenever I can get up into little details like this little groove here on these leaves, I always try and get into areas like that with the scissors, just to give it a little bit more polished, professional look when you're cutting things out. The goal is to make it look as though it was punched, right? Because a punched edge is always perfect every time. So when you're cutting things out, that's the goal. You want to make it look as though it could have been punched. And you'll notice I leave a little white border around the image when I'm cutting it out. Everybody is different, and if you prefer to not have any border, you can certainly do that as well, but that's just kind of most of the time how I like to do them. So there you go. There's a little flower embelly and some leaves. And I'll show you quickly too, even on these jumbo scallops, there are several trims, including some scallop trim and some rickrack trim that come in the embelly kits. And you'll do the same thing when you cut these out. You want to slide the paper through the scissors nice and smooth. And occasionally, you have to kind of choke up on the scissors again once you run out of scissor tip, but you just open it up and then again just slide the paper through the scissors, nice and easy. And I will tell you, when I first started cutting things out, I was horrible. I mean, really, really bad. I thought, I'm never going to get this. It's so frustrating. It takes me forever. I get all these jagged edges. But I just practiced a lot because honestly I love using little foam adhesive and sort of making those embellies pop off the front of my cards with dimensionals or foam adhesive. And so a lot of times if you're working with a stamped image, that's the only way to do it, is to cut it out. So I just practiced a lot, and I got to where now it is a snap to cut out all kinds of embellies and trim and whatnot for my projects. So there you have it. There's a big scalloped border that you could use on your card, and really just practice, and I promise you'll get it, and before you know it, you'll be cutting things out in a snap. And you're going to want to, because you're going to want to be able to cut out these super fun little embellies too. So I hope that by following along and just learning to move the scissors less than you're moving the paper hand, hopefully that will help you to become a cutting professional in no time. I'll just finish up this one other little guy. Again, you can see though, there's nothing to it. Once you kind of perfect your technique and you really get in the mindset that the paper hand is moving more than the scissor hand, then you will have it down in no time. And you can even, like here, I just kind of got a little bit of an edge that wasn't very smooth. So when I get done here, I just go back and smooth that out a little bit with the scissors. Nothing to it. And in case you're wondering, these are just some paper snips that I got from Stampin' Up. I've literally had these guys for probably 4 years, 5 years maybe. And I bought a little sharpener at Walmart that I use. You kind of stick the blades in and you sharpen it yourself. I literally paid about $5 for the sharpener, and that's all I've ever had to do. I'm sure I could get these professionally sharpened somewhere, but really just as long as I keep them semi-sharp with the at-home sharpener, they've totally worked well for me, and I've had no problem since. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.